If you had 5 minutes with your 20-year-old self, what would you say? What mistakes have you made along the way that you could go back to ensure you didn't make? Well, that is what season 5 of Estate Agency Mastery is all about. We've got some brilliant guests that are going to share their failures, but more importantly, what they've taken from those failures. Think Diary of a CEO for estate agents. Stay tuned, it's going to be a belter. Welcome back to Estate Agency Mastery. We're on season 5, which is crazy, and we're switching things up. So normally it's 15-20 minutes. We're probably going to go 20 to 30 minutes. And this series is all about failure and what you can learn from that failure, which is why I got you on first, Anna. Right? Shots fired. Shots fired. And what I really want to do is take some of the best agents, which is why I got you on, that I know, and look at where they failed, 2 or 3 things where they failed, and what they would go back and tell their 20-year-old self, right? So I have got none other than Anna Takkou. Now, we don't normally allow people to introduce themselves, but it's a longer episode. So if you were to introduce yourself to the wider world, who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Why am I here? I don't know, you tell me. But I'm Anna Takkou. I'm sales manager at Location London. 2 years ago was awarded as the best sales valuer in the UK. Whoop, whoop.
I was clapping, I was there.
He was there. And yeah, I've been in the industry, I'm 37, I've been in the industry since I was about 20 years old and done probably every single part of the industry, but now been in sales for about 8 to 9 years.
Nice. And if people want to find you, what socials are you on the most?
Instagram mainly. I'm trying to give more into TikTok, just finding it a bit more tougher. But it's at anna.takkou, which is Takkou, and you'll find us also on Location London's Instagram page.
Lovely, right, we'll put that all in the show notes. So, the big thing here, if you were to go back to your 20-year-old self, which is probably only like 2-3 years, right?
I wish.
To go back to your 20-year-old self, I want 3 bits of golden nuggets, right? We always talk about whether in Birmingham, Belfast, Bognor Regis, you can apply this anywhere. It's not just a London thing. But give me the first failure that really resonates with you that you'd want to share and have that conversation with your 20-year-old self.
I probably think, I'd say looking at it now, it was a failure. Probably keeping myself boxed in. And not kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, and kind of be like, I'm a good agent, I'm doing well, let me kind of keep within what I know and what I'm comfortable with. And what I mean by that is in social media, and the social media side of things. And it's quite interesting how I got into that kind of style of marketing. It wasn't even really because it became popular. We started doing it off the back of COVID. Just didn't want to do as many viewings, it was risky. Etc. And funny enough, at that time of my life, I went through quite a hard part of my life that was quite traumatic, and that created a lot of insecurity, lack of confidence. And moving into social media was the most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever done. And then when they were like, "We got to start hosting them now," I was like, "Me in front of a camera? Like, no, I don't feel good. I don't feel confident." I was really shy, which you wouldn't expect. I was.
It's great to see you got past that.
Yeah, I got past that, like with strength. But it was that transition from there to there what completely propelled my career, and the level of instructions and business I was making, the areas I can now sell in. Keeping myself contained and comfortable was the biggest mistake I could have made, where I could have probably, gone forward in my career in my 20s rather than in my 30s if I made that decision to put myself out there more. But obviously self-doubt kicks in, as does with anyone who starts doing videos and social media and things like that, or even stepping into a valuing role. You have self-doubt, you get imposter syndrome, you get all of these things, but it'll be just to freaking do it anyway.
Okay, well, I always say your comfort zone is the most dangerous place in the world, right? And listening to that, I want you to take me into the journey of, you went, I've got to do it, I'm scared, because what I find crazy in this day and age, right, in 2026, is your CV is your Instagram for estate agents, right? And you still get agents that don't want to try it, or agents that do it a little bit piecemeal, that don't really get it. I'm a massive advocate that you'll go, I want an agent in Hackney, and it will look at your socials and go, speak to Anna.
It already does.
Yeah, right?
It
does, right?
Does, yeah.
And so for me, if you're thinking about doing it or you don't do it well enough, or you've got that fear and trepidation, how do you go from I'm shitting myself, I don't want to do it, but I have to get out of my comfort zone, through to, this is going to be hard for me to say, you're one of the best at it in the business. There we go, I said it.
Someone screenshot that, send it to me.
Oscar, cut that out, mate. We don't need that in. But you're incredible at it, you're confident at it, and looking at your videos, you never in a million years would think you are not a natural. So how do you go to pretending, faking it till you make it, to actually being a natural now?
You literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah, and getting there. Okay, so talk me through it.
Fake it till you make it, and a lot of people don't like that saying, but ultimately you have to become who you want to be before you can become that person. You have to step into that and act as if.
So it's a mindset
It's
shift.
a mindset thing. Your mind doesn't know anything different than what you tell it. And at that particular point in my life, I mean, it was as bad as I couldn't even get out of bed, and I was like pushing myself for my team, and I would be in tears before I walked through the door, and then it would be, I had to fake it till I made it. Eventually, I created those kind of neural pathways, and my brain believed that that's just who I am. I think what comes along with that as well, right at the beginning, is if you see my first video, it is the most pathetic thing you've ever seen.
We'll make sure to put it in the show notes.
It's pathetic. It's literally the camera's under my chin like I'm a grandma, and going, oh, look at this lovely house behind me. But we all start from somewhere. I know Nick Kay, who always pops into the office and we always have a nice chat. Nick Kay put up a video of himself, one of his first videos, and all of us were kind of like, it was just neck and head and the property in the back, and we all got to start from somewhere. Anything you start, you're not going to be great at it. I want to start paddle soon. Am I going to be great at it? No. Is it going to frustrate the hell out of me? Yes. You know, I'm a competitive person too. So you've got to keep driving yourself forward, and don't look for external ways to build your confidence and to give you self-worth. That comes from you alone, and people will not respect you or view your worth if you don't have your own worth. So I think it was certain things I would do in particular for the first couple of months until I felt comfortable with myself, I guess, is I would make sure I dressed nice and done these little things that made me feel confident and good. I would kind of make sure I knew what I wanted to say in a way, and knew what things I wanted to mention. But my biggest insecurity, to be honest with you, was the way I spoke. I'm from North London. I've got a North London accent, you know. There might be a little bit of a swear word here and there. That is just how I communicate. And at that time, you know, you had likes of Grant J. Bates, who was amazing what he'd done and found his niche and his style. You know, and then you've got Tanya, the voice like butter. Yeah. You know, that girl's voice, I mean, oh my God, I can listen to her all day. And then there was me, hi, I'm Anna, you know, and that was a big insecurity of mine, but then found my own way of, this is who I am.
It's your personality.
This is my personality, I'm authentic, and I work in East London. Some people speak like me, some people do not. And I think it's just finding who you are, understanding who your niche is, and what you're trying to actually do on those videos, and block out the external noise, because everyone's going to have an opinion. Your friends are going to say you're embarrassing. Someone's going to say you're cheesy. What I actually had was, people said I was attention seeking. And this is after 2 years of not even posting on my private Instagram, because I just didn't like who I was. So block out the external noise, and if you're going to go for it, go for it. You are going to feel bad on days. Give yourself a pep talk. Don't expect someone else to do that for you. Okay,
cool. So can I go deep?
Go on.
So there will be people listening to this going, okay, all sounds good, yeah, I get the theory. Talk me through one of your dark days, and how did you get over it? Because it's easy going, I did a mindset shift, right? And that's not easy, but you're sharing like the formula, but the nitty gritty is how, when there's a day when you mentioned not wanting to get out of bed, or people in your world hating on you, how did you find the fuel, the fire to get over that?
I think sometimes when you feel like you've hit rock bottom, you've got nowhere else to go. Oof. Right? And I think it came, it literally was a point I was looking in the mirror, I didn't like who I saw, I didn't want to speak to people. Naturally, I do come across as very confident in general. So those days that I felt like I couldn't carry myself the way I wanted to, I just didn't want to see anybody. And that is a dark place to be in. And I think one of the turning points was when my boss caught me outside crying before I got into the office, because no one would ever see me like that. I would never let that happen. I would never reflect what's going on with me to my team. I felt the responsibility of being that leader. And she came out as Vicky Bibberis, shout out to Vicky. She came up to me and she said it was a partnership that broke down, which created this issue. And I wouldn't even say breakdown, it was traumatic. But she came up to me and she went, he's broken your spirit. She went, what a spirit to break. And that just made me think like, who the hell am I right now? I'm letting this dictate who I've becoming. I can let this make me or break me. And I'm not saying that all of a sudden I was a superhero and then smashing it. Absolutely not. There was, again, days where I wasn't feeling great. And that's when I was moving more into valuing. And most of the values in my area were all older guys, you know, suited, booted, that kind of thing. And although I've moved away from that now, I'd get up, I'd put a suit on, so I feel like a boss.
Yeah.
I was put on Tom Ford Black Orchid, believe it or not. So I smelt like a boss, you know, and it was Orchid, mindset things, these little things that made me feel good. I put on a certain song in my car when I was on my way to that appointment or on my way to that
What was the
video.
song?
I'm not going to tell you right now, but I'll tell you who actually influenced me for that was E01. E01 used to be my coach back in the day, and again, shout out to him because he's taught me some really valuable things. His song was Eye of the Tiger. Nice. His song was Eye of the Tiger, and that influenced me to be like, okay, and music is a big thing for me. It really adjusts my mood. So I think it's finding those little things that help you. So I mean, if I felt like it didn't look good, then make myself look good, make myself feel good, make myself smell good, make all these little things that subconsciously made me feel a bit more uplifted. Morning routine was the biggest game changer.
Huge.
Biggest game changer. Don't look at Instagram, don't look at my phone. Because what I do is look at Instagram, see how many likes I've got on my new video. And then you see comments. And one time I had someone call me Tranny Annie, which to be honest, I found hilarious. Because I don't take things too personally like that. But it sets up your mind frame. And I give out a lot of energy, but I also absorb it a lot.
Yes.
And that's a weakness of mine, but also a strength, is how you know how to use it. So I know that if I open my phone in the morning and one of my friends was messaging me something that's going on or they're complaining about something, I absorb that and my mindset's fixed. I'm already starting the day off under a dark cloud.
I'm huge on morning routine and not going on your phone for the first half an hour. Like as an agent, certainly I'm in the self-employed space. If you get a text on pulling out or whatever, it frames your state for the rest of the day. And so for us, it's almost a non-negotiable of your first half an hour is you time. Yeah. It's coffee, it's music, it's check your sleep score. Yeah. It's everything but digital.
You would do that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I would.
But yeah, I mean, it's got to a point where I've set boundaries along the line as well, where some of my friends won't even call me in the morning for a chit chat.
Yeah.
And it's not a disrespectful thing. It's not that I don't care about my friends or to be there for them. I need to look after myself first before I can be my best self for anyone else. So that was a big change.
Say that line again.
I need to look after myself before I can be my best self for anyone else.
And that's the amount of people I know that put other people first because they are really good people, but then they let themselves burn down. I remember speaking to my ex, and one day when we were together, she was like, "What are your values?" And I was like, "Fun, family, growth." And she was like, "Why is family not first?" I was like, "Because if I am not having fun, I can't show up as a dad, as a husband, as the best version of me." And she had a real issue with family not being first, which I get. Yeah. But it's like if I'm running on empty, if I'm not, you talked about rewiring your brain, if I'm not living in a state of gratitude, abundance, happiness, I'm gonna be a shit partner. I'm gonna be a shit dad.
Can't pour from an empty cup. And
which segments nicely. Is that point two?
That was point two, absolutely, because I found I'd done actually the opposite when I went into that kind of mind frame of growth and do the best you can, and it was more like, you know, that Netflix program Reinventing Anna. Like, it was funny, it came out because as that came out I was like, I'm reinventing Anna. I'm not changing who I am, I'm changing things I don't like about my life and how it's making me feel, because I'm in control of that. No one else is here to save you. Nobody. And I think in those darkest days, that's what showed me. I had friends around me, I had family around me, but no one could change how I felt or what my next trajectory of the next 3 or 4 or 5 weeks is going to look like other than me. I had to shape that myself. I went too in it, where everything was about my clients, my team, my company. I wasn't spending as much time with family. I was being there for all my friends with people that were going through things. And then what I found was I was becoming quite resentful. Because I didn't have time for myself. I was coming back shattered. I didn't want to go to the gym. That's another thing. That was another thing that completely reshaped my mental health. Completely was training.
We'll come to that because I want you to know.
And I know that gets mentioned a lot on the pod, and it's important. It clearly, you know, like you said, success leaves leaves marks, and you know kind of how someone's got to that, and that was the biggest shift, which we'll discuss after. But yeah, pouring from an empty cup. Once I decided that, stop feeling guilty. I think it was the guilt, and I think that's what a lot of people have a burden of, is having that guilt of looking after myself and looking selfish. You have to be selfish before you can be selfless. And then I realised I was just pouring from this empty cup, and I became snappy. I didn't want to help as much. When I did help, I was being resentful that I gave my time, and that's when I created that morning routine and blockers of don't contact me between these hours, because I need to pour into my cup, feel fulfilled. Then my whole day I can give as much as I want to my clients, as much as I want to my teams, take a call from a friend later on, go see my mum and listen to all the moaning she's got to do, you know, and then I'm fine when I go sleep, because I'm like, my day has been satisfied. I've done what I had to do for me and for everybody else too.
Makes sense. One of my, you've touched on something, so one of my current business partners said to me, or he said it to all of us as a team, don't be that friend that people can rely on, but don't be that friend that is associated with, if they've got bad news, they will come to you. And as someone in my world I love and adore so much, but they are always at, if a friend's relative passes away or something, they're always the first call, but they're never the first call for that person if they're out celebrating, or if they, and it's great they've got that friendship, but the association is of bad news, I'll speak to you.
You're more comfortable being in a negative environment than being positive and, you know, being the drum for someone. I think everyone has that person in their life, and this is another thing as well, is no expectations, no disappointments. We cannot shape all of our environment to be who we are. Our friends won't always have the exact same morals, the exact same values. There'll be some that are set, which is why we're friends in the first place. But I think that's also another thing of expectation. One friend is not going to be able to show up for me the way another one can, and that one will not be able to show up for me the way that can. I think it's being able to take people as they are, take the good with the bad, but then also make sure you're protecting yourself. And if something doesn't resonate with you, it's okay to take a step back. It's okay to let them know without making them feel less than. But I think you have to be very, very aware of who is around you. Like you said, the top 5 people. Being from North London, my mum grew up in Tottenham, and then we moved to Alexandra Palace. And her frame way, you can cut this after if you want, but her framing is, if you hang around shit, you smell like shit.
No, keep that in.
That's literally it. And that's basically, and I've always gone through that in my life. And I'm like, do I want to hang around flowers and attract bees, or do I want to hang around shit and attract flies? What do you want? And you balance out, of course, those people in your life, and you can't feel guilty for it. You're better off being a loner than around the wrong environment.
So I love this point, right? So you can't pour from an empty cup. You will have had people in your world that you've had to cut. And there'll be people watching this going, that person I need to cut out of my life, because as much as I love them, I've known them since I was 5, they just drain my cup. And I have a very small circle of close people, very, very small. And people can come in and come out of that based on certain things. But I've had to let a lot of fair weather relationships go, fair weather friends where it wasn't serving me or my purpose. And it was sad at the time, but actually, am I a much better father for not having that negative or shitty, you know, if you hang around shit, you smell like shit, right? I want to be that bee, like you say, I'm gonna nick that line. So how have you gone about that? And because it's not easy. It's
not, and it's funny because they call me the straight talking agent. I'll sit there and tell you exactly what you need to hear, even if I don't want to say it. When it comes to my personal life, I find it very difficult when I love someone. So it isn't, I'm not saying that I've got this nailed down, it's really easy for me. It's not. It's a balance. It's just taking a step back and getting out of those situations that do make you feel like that. So whilst there might be someone that I may have cut off a little while ago, I'm still in touch with them. I still want to make sure you're okay. I still want to make sure you're eating. You just don't need to eat at my table every single time, you know. And it's taking that, and I think people feel that energy as well, and they feel and sometimes you have to be a little bit open, like, look, stop people in their tracks. I think stop people when they're going into tandem, like, oh my god this, oh my god that, and it's like, and sometimes I just ask the question of, do you want comfort or a solution? Which one do you want? Because if you want comfort, I'll give you a hug and I'll rub your back and I'll feed you all the bullshit you want to hear. If you want a solution, I'm going to sit here and tell you exactly what you need to do and how you need to sort your life out, and you just pull your head out your bum and just keep it moving, you know. And if people can't accept that or don't like taking that on, that's okay. It's not for everyone. But then don't talk to me about these issues, and we'll discuss these things that we get along with or whatever it is. I think it's not necessarily cutting someone, it's choosing where you spend your time with them and what kind of conversations or interactions you have with them. And then people notice it themselves. 100%. They notice it themselves, and then they try to shape themselves. They'll take a step back with certain situations or not come to you for those specific conversations.
I like it. Okay, so we touched earlier, that's brilliant by the way, but we touched on, and I really want to segue into the gym. We touched on, right. and we give each other.
He trolls me, by the way.
She trolls just as hard. She trolls just as apparently I'm always in the same gym outfit. Embarrassing.
And I had to go get myself a whole new kit just so he could stop trolling me.
Yeah, it was about time you washed
I'm
your
like
kit.
Simon Cowell. I have 10 different black outfits.
Yeah.
Now they're multicoloured, just so Chris
They've
knows
all got the same rip on them. It's weird, but yeah. So you're massive into a gym, right? And someone said to me the other day, like, why is it so important to you, Chris? And I said, because the way you show up is the way you show up. And for me, it's like, if I want to be the very best version of myself and offer that kind of leadership role to my agents and be the role model to my kids and everything else, turning up out of shape is not an option for me.
Yeah.
But it's taken me 40 years to get to that, like, I have to be militant with it. Talk to me about you've talked about your journey so far. Where did the gym fit in, and how is it a non-negotiable? How important is it to you?
It's still a battle, so I'm not going to pretend like every day I wake up like, woo, I'm going to go and do my personal best today. Sometimes I literally drag myself.
I did last night.
Or I might have like 4 pre-workout gummies like I did yesterday, and I was just like pinging all over the place. But it's deciding why you're doing it. Not everyone's going to feel motivated, and that's with anything. You're not going to feel motivated, but you've got to why are you doing it, and if you don't do it, what happens? And it's understanding that. And I've always kind of been in and out of fitness, and when I mean that, in my 20s, I didn't need to train. I was in good shape anyway. I was actually an estate agent on foot for 2 years. I was doing 20,000 steps on a Saturday till Asad was like, Hannah, you need to hurry up and get your car, you know. So I never had to really, and then during my long-term relationship I was in and out of it a little bit, but then you get comfortable and all of that jazz. And afterwards, I think I put on a bit of weight because of depression. I wasn't big, but I put on a bit of weight. And something was said to me like, if we ever have a baby, I'll get you a personal trainer. And that just pissed me right off. And I was like, I don't need you for me to fix me. And it was kind of that bullish, I don't need you, I don't need this. And it was kind of got myself in there. And it was starting off to get myself in shape. And I'd always done cardio and this and that. Once I started doing weight training, that's my thing. Weight training is my thing. It was the mental health. I wasn't even thinking about my shape, and I got in shape just because I was training. So I wanted to do it. And the job is a tough job. You know, we have hard conversations, we get difficult situations that are out of our control sometimes. And you end the day, sometimes you can end the day in a funk or completely drained. Me going to that gym is my therapy. And I'll go David Lloyd, so I say David's my therapist. So I'm like, I'm going to go see my David today. And it's that release. And you never, if you walk in a bad mood, you're never going to walk out in a bad mood. No. Ever. It's impossible. And if you are, you need to get your head tested. But you don't. And then the more that you do that, again, you build trust with yourself, respect for yourself. You influence others. You know, there's so many different benefits that come to it, but it's my mental health more than anything. It really helps me because I'm a big stress head. I am in my head a lot. I'm very much, yes, a positive thinker, but through mindfulness. I'm mindful when I think a certain way, and then I put myself in a certain position. If I'm having a bad day, I'll go to the gym. If I'm bored at home and I fancy going to the pub with my friends, I'll go to the gym. Then I'll go to the pub and have one, you know, or whatever it is. And it's making sure I do it a certain amount of times a week. Now, saying that, I'm not going to say I'm preaching and, you know, I'm this and Mrs. Motivator, but past 2 weeks, I fell off of it a little bit and I was feeling guilty, and then my mental health was struggling. I wasn't being as patient, so many other aspects, and I was like, okay, what motivation do I need to get myself back in it? Because right now I'm getting tired and I'm finding excuses for myself. Book a holiday. Because you're not bikini ready, book a holiday and you're going to train your butt off for the next 2 weeks. That's exactly what I've been doing. And then once you get back in the rhythm, you're fine. Yeah. So once you fall out of that rhythm, and it's normal, everyone goes through it. I don't think there's anyone that, well, there are some people, probably you, but there's some people that, not everyone kind of gets something. It's like, I can't wait. Like, we don't love and enjoy the gym. Like, I've got other things I want to do. I've got better things to do. I've got a social life, you know, but I know how important it is for how I feel when I put something on. I don't want to feel a certain way. I want to feel good about myself. I want to be able to walk in a room, my chin up, my shoulders back, and that was something I also used to do to put myself in a good headspace. It's confidence building, these little body language things that you can do to give yourself the kind of perception that you've got confidence in you and you feel good, etc. But yeah, I would never swap that for anything ever again now. I think that is better than any medicine, any therapy that you can get, for sure.
I think, so this isn't an aesthetic or a vain thing, but I want to link it back to something you said earlier, is and only because you touched upon it then, in terms of, you were like, I got my Tom Ford Black Orchid, I got my, my power suits, right? But I think there is something to be said for when you train, say, solidly for 3 months, you just feel better in your appearance. And it's not an ego thing in terms of, look at me, how great I am. But people notice and people comment. And for me, it's not like I want people to comment, but when they do, it like builds me up to 10 feet tall. It's like, okay, that's a nice thing. Yeah. And I think that's fine to have in terms of all this mental health stuff we're talking about. Yeah. It's not like, look at me, I'm great, but it's just nice, and you feel better. And going back to the whole full circle, if your clothes are fitting better, right, and people are going, you're training quite a bit, and you've got the power suit, and you've got and you're putting yourself in that position, I think it's almost such an underrated, not underrated, but people don't discuss it because people think it's ego or whatever. Actually, it's just it's the completeness. If you're going to show up in the best clothes and the best smell, turn up in the best shape.
It's a combination, isn't it? It's a combination. I think touching on that as well, I think especially if you do go gym or if you post things like that, it's very easy to have the finger pointed. You say, oh, you're vain and you're this and you're that. Now, if I absolutely smashed it on a sale and someone said I've done an amazing sale, why should I not feel good about that? I would. So if someone said that about my physique because of how hard I worked, like I did on that sale, why should I not be able to take that on the board? Yeah. And I think this is the day and age that we're in now, is those that are doing a lot for themselves, and people that are uncomfortable to do it or just haven't the motivation to do it is very quick to point the finger and kind of pull people down. And if one of the lessons I would tell myself back then about failure is caring too much about what other people think. Yeah. Way too much, when we're not even the same person. So why do I care about your opinion when we don't have the same values, we don't have the same morals? Don't get me wrong. If you're my family, if you're my friends, and I actually respect you and who you are as a person and what you've done with your life, etc., I will take what you say on board, absolutely. But those naysayers, those people in the background, the ones that call you tranny Annie and all that kind of stuff, I still find it hilarious. I'm a little bit masculine. But it's those things that you have to just cut it out. You're never going to please everyone. And I think it was Grant Boy, he posted something the other day and it was like, you can't be everyone's cup of tea, and if you are, you're a mug. It's so true. Yeah, I like that. I want to be someone's shot of tequila. It's not going to be for everyone, but people pay good money for good tequila. They do. I had to buy my business partner a bottle the other day. Weren't cheap. No, they're not. I bet it was a blue and white one, wasn't it? It was a dear one, yeah. I did get someone to get it from the airport for me, though. Do you know what I mean? Save a bit of time. G3, yeah. Yeah. We're not made of money. All right, fine. There's... I was going to segue into another story, but I'm not. Your third point then, going back to 20-year-old Anna, what would you want to share with her? Just believe in yourself and don't wait for other people to do it. I think I was always very much looking for external kind of approval. And that might stem back from being a kid and the experiences you have in school, and if you've been bullied and loads of different things like that. And I'm happy to be completely vulnerable. I was bullied as a kid in primary school and things like that, which had a big impact. That also gave me tough skin. I've got 2 older brothers. They wouldn't let me get bullied. So they were like, you need to be able to stand up to yourself and speak and do something about it. But I was such a soft person. I don't want to create any bad feelings for people. And I'm still that person. I'm still soft in that sense where I don't want to ever upset anybody. But when I became an estate agent, I was actually a property manager for about 5 years, and I became a manager very young for a company when I was about 23. And then I had a load of interviews because I just had enough, and I walked through locations doors, and it was my last interview actually as a property manager. And my director, Asad Riaz, he sat there and he just went, I don't know what I'm going to do with you, but it's not going to be this. Come back in 2 weeks. And he's the one who then put me as a lettings negotiator, and that's actually how I started within lettings and sales. Nice. And it was that person believed in me, and I'm so grateful he believed in me, because I don't believe I'll be where I am now. However, if I believed in myself at that age, I could have done that a lot sooner. Why am I waiting for someone else to show their belief in me, for me then to go and create my life? So I think that's something that I would change, is your belief system is from you. No one's going to believe in you unless you believe in yourself, and don't expect it from others, because that also means that all the power's in someone else's hands. Yeah. They can make you and they can break you, and that's exactly what I've done later on in my life, where that's when I took that decision to make myself and be my own saviour in a way. Do you know, I think 20-year-olds,
look for external validation a lot rather than believe in themselves, right? Because you're right on my view, everyone's childhood trauma shapes who they become in their 20s and how they look at things.
Yeah.
I think this day and age, certainly when I look at the 20-year-old people that I know, it's the opportunity is unlike anything out there before, and the mindset of if someone's hounding me for a job. I was with someone last week and they've done a startup business, it's in health and wellness, and they have a link to Ben Francis, the guy at Gymshark. And I was like, I think they're early 30s maybe, and I was like, send him a box of it every week with a handwritten note until you get a meeting. And they were like, oh, I don't know, and I was like, if you did that for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, Ben will take that. I'm sure of it. Like, you've just got to believe in yourself and go back to full circle to your first point. If I was 20, the biggest thing I would say is believe in yourself, get yourself out of the comfort zone. It's the most dangerous place. And if anyone challenges you to do anything, you have to accept it. So one of the things I do now, if someone goes, if I have that internal dialogue of, oh, can I do that? Like I've trained myself to almost like crush the chimp and just go and do the opposite for what it is. And be like, I just back myself.
You feel amazing after it once you've done something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you know, and that kind of thing. You have to back yourself. And it's even like little things like on evaluation, how the hell are you going to win something, win the business or something, the most important move of someone's life, probably the most expensive investment they may have. If you're not believing in yourself and kind of showing you're confident and that you're the right person to do the job for them, why are they going to choose you?
It's so true. It's that whole, if you believe you can, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have that fundamental belief, which kind of links to your second point of fake it till you make it, give yourself every chance to manifest that person, believe who you can be. Because the world is so abundant. There's never been a better time for me to be 20 and going, what the hell do I want to do in life? And we have the ability to reach out to anyone we want via socials and try and set up a meeting or do whatever. But if you don't have those core bits in place that you've discussed today, you won't get there.
No, and I think that also comes down to what I could have told myself then. It's something I struggle with now, but rejection isn't failure. And that's where people don't do that, what you just said, like sending it to Gymshark guy like more than once because you've just been rejected. You don't want to do it because it's embarrassing, and then you're in yourself, and then your ego gets bruised, and you've got to watch for that because your egos can sometimes be your worst enemy, you know? It's continuously doing those things. And even now, I don't take rejection well. In business, I can now kind of look at it as a lesson. What can I learn out of it? Why was I rejected? Or for instance, why did I not get the business? I don't look at what did they do to get it. I very rarely compare myself outside of my industry, my company, or what we do, because comparison is the thief of joy, number one. Number two, I do not want to be redirected any shape, way, or form. I know what path I'm on and I know where I want to keep going. So it's more, not why did they get it, why did I not? And then what can I do to improve? And you look at it as a lesson. However, I wouldn't, you know, and it works in every area of life. In, I wouldn't say dating, I'm like, but it's one of those things that rejection can really kind of, again, knock your confidence, and people really don't take it well. And I overthink. I really kind of take it very personally. But I've learned, again, through mindset and coaching myself, to not let my thoughts run that, and to stop myself when I think like that, and then try to reframe it and reframe the agenda, and then understand what the lesson is and what I need to do to not feel like that again and improve moving forward.
One of the things I've noticed today is the way you articulate yourself, for me, comes from years of education, whether that's books, YouTube, Tony Robbins, self-improvement, whatever it might be, because you speak very differently to most 20-year-olds, right? And you can tell as a young adult, you've framed the way you speak. So if you were to leave this podcast now with you speaking to your 20-year-old self again, you've got to look into the camera and do this deep. What is one journey you would go on in terms of read every day, go onto YouTube, these 5 books changed my life? What would that be?
I would first of all say good to great. That was a very good one. But I would actually say scrapping all of that. What helped change everything was changing what you follow on social media. That was in one of our last episodes, re-changing the algorithm. Oh my God. During that time, like I said, when I wasn't in a good place, you know, it was COVID as well. So like we're looking at, oh my God, it's going to sound so embarrassing, like makeup tutorials, stuff like that, like the most stupid things. And then all you had was just women with all these things pumped in their face, just coming in the thing, and then you're sitting there comparing yourself. And I just caught myself where I was getting insecure, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm literally doing this to myself. So I got rid of everything, started following like Warren Buffett, motivational things, like all these other platforms, and then my algorithm completely changed. And even now, that's all I get. So there's educational things, and I do sometimes doom scroll. Like, we'll give it a bit at times, but if I'm going to doom scroll, I want to at least get something out of it.
Yeah.
And it kind of all those little seeds that get planted along the way. We do training sessions at work as well. Vicky's very big on doing skill set training and kind of mindset training, and I think that helped kind of kick off how I can control my own narrative, how I can control how I think. And I am a worrier. I do worry about things. You know, I do overthink. I don't think that's going to completely change. That's who I am, but I can control how that happens.
Just die on the camera.
But yeah, it's up to me. It's a very liberating thing when you realize that you can control what you think and how you behave and how you can stop a negative thought process going through that. That is very liberating, and I think more people need to take control of that rather go, this is just how I am. I hate that. Don't ever come to me and say, this is just who I am. No, you can change that, or you can improve that, or you can catch yourself doing that. That kind of whole victim and stuck fixed mindset, I just don't vibe with it at all. So that'll be it.
Nice. Season 5, episode 1. What a banger.
What a banger.
What a banger. Cheers,
Banger.
pal.